If you're someone who struggles with anxiety throughout your adult life, then this video may be for you. Now, before I even start this video, I'm just going to give a brief disclaimer. This would not be one of those videos where I'm coming on here just giving this fake advice about, oh, just stop being a perfectionist and it can cure your anxiety. Stop overthinking and it can cure your anxiety. I want to actually tell you guys tips on how you can actually do those things, and where anxiety comes from, what are some symptoms of it, how people have certain coping mechanisms that they do to deal with it, and much more. So in this video I will be giving you guys just that, so stay tuned. So the first thing I want to do is define what anxiety is, because I feel like a lot of people have anxiety and they don't even realize that they have it because they've just dealt with it their whole entire life. So let's first define what anxiety is, and I have it written down right here. So basically, anxiety is intense or persistent worry or fear about everyday situations. So if you're someone who has trouble doing simple things, it may be even like getting up and going to the mailbox because you know that you're going to run into people in your apartment complex, or like not even people that you know, but just people in general. You're trying to avoid those social situations. You may be someone who suffers from anxiety. If you're someone who is always overthinking what they're going to say in a conversation with somebody, you may have social anxiety. If you're someone who tosses and turns at nights, overthinking, how their next day at work is going to go, or, I have to do a presentation, or, you might have an interview, you might have a date. There's many different things that can trigger your anxiety, but that's just to name a few. So some symptoms of anxiety could be sweating, rapid heart rate, overthinking. I know for me, and this is just one of the things that I struggle with. I used to suck at interviews just because I had anxiety. I kid you not. I probably had over like 20 interviews that I fumbled just because like I was freaking out during them. I was overqualified. I knew what I could bring to the table. I knew about the company. I did research on the company, and I just fumbled the interview all because I just was overthinking every question. I just was over analyzing their facial expressions, because y'all know, like, certain people in interviews, or like certain interviewers, they like kind of make facial expressions during the interview. Like when they're writing, they'll be like, and for someone with anxiety, like, you probably are over analyzing everything. You're like, did I say something wrong? Did I say something right? What are you writing? Are you writing, no, I'm not taking this person? Like, there's just so many things that go through your head in situations like that. So that was just something personally that I dealt with, just to give you guys, an explanation of like what anxiety can look like. Like, I know for some people, they overthink their words in conversations with people to the point where like they start to stutter just because like you were thinking too far ahead on what you were about to say. Like, you weren't even like talking in the moment, like syllable by syllable. So you were like thinking 5 syllables ahead, and then you stumbled over a word. And then like it all comes from anxiety. Like, people don't realize so many things that you struggle with in this life comes from anxiety. And there's ways to fix it, and I'm going to get to that. One more thing that I do want to mention before I get into the actual ways that you can deal or cope with anxiety, or conquer it, I guess you could say, um, is coping mechanisms. Because a lot of different people have a lot of different coping mechanisms when it comes to anxiety. And, that can range from, working out, which I feel like is a healthy one, to like, substance abuse, abusing alcohol, abusing drugs, abusing people. There's many different ways that people can cope with anxiety. So we've got to make sure that we first know that we have anxiety, if we have it, and two, know how to cope with it if you have it. Because a lot of people have been dealing with anxiety for so long that they have just been using this coping mechanism for so many years that they don't know how to undo it, or they don't even know that it is a coping mechanism. They just think it's just something that they're addicted to. And honestly, I hate to say this, but it's a fact. There's a lot of people per year that like unalive themselves. I don't want to say the word because YouTube, but unalive themselves because of anxiety. It pushes them to the point where they don't want to be here anymore. You know, Someone watching this video right now might have had a friend that, unalived themselves because they were, an anxious person and they just didn't want to be here on earth anymore. They thought that that was the easiest way to make the pain or suffering or anxious thoughts go away. So I say that to say anxiety is a very serious thing, and the severity of it ranges, from person to person, but it is a very serious thing, and it's a very important issue to discuss when talking about mental health. So I want to discuss, like I said in the beginning, how to overcome it. The first thing you need to do is eliminate the what if mindset. I'm going to say that again. You need to eliminate the what if mindset. Now, I know when I first came on the video, I said, I'm not going to, just say, oh, stop doing this. And I'm not. Let me explain. So, the what if mindset is the mindset that you have when you're just like, oh, well, I wonder what would have happened if I would have done this, or I wonder what would have happened if I would have said this, or I wonder what would have happened if I would have took this job, or I wonder what would have happened if I would have, not broke up with that person or stayed a little longer in the relationship. Like that is the what if mindset. So we need to transition from the what if mindset to the oh well mindset. But the thing about this is there's no one that can make you do this except for you. So I don't want to just tell you guys that and not tell you how to do it, but you are the only person who can do it. I can't make you do it. You guys know the phrase, you can lead a horse to the water and you can't make it drink. Is it a horse or a cow? Would you lead a cow to water? Anyways, y'all know the phrase that I'm talking about. So this is one of those things where you're just going to have to step out on faith, trust yourself enough to make that decision on, just pulling the trigger on whatever it is that you're anxious about, and knowing that you have nothing to lose. You may have something to lose, but you can look back on this and be like, dang, well, even though it didn't go the way I thought, I'm glad I did it because I would have never known what would have happened if I didn't do it. Now, when I say to eliminate the what if mindset, I'm saying this in a productive way. This isn't giving anyone an excuse to do anything stupid. Like I'm not, telling someone, "Oh, let me just go slap my teacher because I wanted to know, what it would be like if I did that. And now that I did it, I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm suspended now." No, like let's not do anything stupid. I'm just more so saying if there's something you've been anxious about and it could benefit your life in a positive way, or you're too scared or too fearful to do it, then you need to take that leap of faith and realize that you have nothing to lose when it comes to that aspect of life, and then pull the trigger. Because a lot of people will come on my videos and twist my words and make it seem like I'm trying to say something that I'm not. So I want to make that very clear. Eliminate the what if mindset in a productive way in your life, because like you cannot go back on your choices. My dad says all the time, life is about choices. And I know he's probably watching right now, but life is really just about choices, honestly. And you're judged on the choices that you make. So you have to make sure that the choices that you make are in the best interest for your life. So eliminate the what if mindset and obtain the oh well mindset by stepping out on faith and trusting yourself. Like I said, no one can do that except for you. I can't make you do that. And whether you need to seek therapy to, motivate yourself to be able to get to that point where you can trust yourself, take your time. Everybody's, moves at a different pace. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody, deals with anxiety in a different way. So if you need to, go to therapy or talk to someone, where they can maybe help you work up the courage to do so, then do it. And that leads me to my next point. Writing things down. Guys, I recommend this so bad that I would honestly recommend this before I would recommend going to therapy, Because if you write things down, you 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 can realize things that you didn't even know that you were thinking. Like writing things down, or even if you want to type it, can allow you to see your thoughts clearly. You can literally read them back and be like, dang, like I didn't even realize I felt like this. And it's just like a way to get all of that out. Because with writing things down, you could also then prepare to go to therapy, because then you'll have all your thoughts out ready for either them to read it or you to explain how you were feeling. You know, because the first part of therapy is just like the screening process of them, figuring out what's going on with you, how are you feeling. And sometimes people realize that they were feeling a certain way once they get screened and once the therapist asks multiple questions, or like, everything comes out. But if you write it down, you can be prepared for that because you can already have it ready, and you can be like, this is what I wrote down, this is how I felt, this is what's going on in my head, tell me what's happening. I know writing really helped me because, when you have anxiety, you get so caught up in your own thoughts and like what's going on in your head that, sometimes you can create unrealistic scenarios in your head. So like one time when I was like really in my head about something, I wrote it down and like I thought it was just gonna be a page, and it ended up being like 3, 4 pages. And I went back in and read it one day, and I was like, dang, like I was really feeling like this. But in that moment of me journaling versus reacting to the situation at hand, my choice of journaling helped me because, the situation turned out to not be what I thought it was. And, that was fine. And, it could have went worse, and it was all avoided because I chose to journal instead of reacting. And honestly, nobody has to know what your journal says. Like, when I say, you could show it to your therapist or like read it out loud, you don't have to do that either. Like, journaling is really just supposed to be for you. It's just supposed to be so you can get your thoughts out, realize how you feel, and, cope with it that way. You have to get things out somehow. And, the old saying, what's in will come out. And that is, the truest statement I've ever heard. Let's say you're also dealing with a breakup, or like you're dealing with, having trouble coping with not being with an ex anymore. You can actually write a letter to them and then never give it to them. And I know people that have done this before, and honestly, every person that I have, heard that's done this has really been helped with this tactic. So I would highly recommend doing things like that. Like, let's say you have a bad relationship with your father or your mother or your cousin or brother or sister. And you can write them a letter and never give it to them, but just getting those thoughts out can really help you in the long run. The third and final thing that I have is you need to go to the gym. I know this is like the most cliche thing you probably heard on this video, but you need to go to the gym. When you go to the gym, you can release so much stress, like more stress than you realize that you had. And you feel so accomplished afterwards. Like you feel like, oh man, like I did something today. Like nothing can stop me because like I accomplished something today. So going to the gym, bruh, allows you to just let off steam, let off stress. And there's actually a chemical that you release called endorphins. And when you release these, it can really make you happy. It's literally scientifically proven. It can make you happy and feel less anxious. So I would highly recommend going to the gym, because going to the gym not only helps your mental, but your physical as well. So you're getting a 2-for-1 special, bro, by going to the gym. And think about it. When you felt the most anxious, did you go to the gym that day? Think about it. Did you go to the gym that day? But the day that you did go to the gym, were you anxious that day? And if your answer is still yes, maybe try to be like more consistent with it. You know what I mean? Because it's not an overnight thing. But I will say, when you go to the gym, that is a instant thing. You're gonna feel more accomplished. Even if, you were sad about something or anxious about something and it doesn't automatically go away because you went to the gym. That may take time, like I said. But the feeling of accomplishing something or like releasing something, you will automatically feel if you get a good heavy workout in. So guys, take these 3 tips and apply them to your life, and I promise you your anxiety will plummet drastically. I know because I've tried it and I've dealt with anxiety for my whole entire life. So I'm not just coming on this video just telling you guys some BS just like that I looked up. Like, no, like I actually deal with this on a day-to-day basis, and I know a lot of people that do as well. And I also know a lot of people who haven't been diagnosed with it yet, but they have it. So anxiety, like I said in the beginning, is something that affects a lot of people throughout the whole world, for many different reasons. Could be, relationship based, could be family based, could be situational. But everybody's different. Everyone deals with it differently. So I'm just coming on here giving you guys the tips that helped me. So I hope this video helped at least one person. I really want to touch people with these videos. And like I said, anxiety is like one of the main things that I've struggled with for my whole entire life. And I will say YouTube has been helping me get better with it. So thank you guys for that. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.